Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for Alumni Pride. I'm Wayne McCullough and I'm so happy you've joined us. We have an alumni who is with us who we're very, very proud of, and her name is Bobbie Clark Lamond, and Bobbie is from the class of 1988. So that puts me about 10 years younger than her. I'm going to use the word about because I'm rounding down a little bit, but I'm so happy you joined us and thank you so much. First of all, Bobbie, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it very much.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit from the time you left Susquehannock High School, update us from the next years and where you are now.
When I graduated Susquehannock
Yes,
in 1988, I went to the University of Delaware, where I received a Bachelor's of Science degree in elementary education. And from there, I moved to Harrisburg and began teaching in Elizabethtown Middle School. And I taught 7th grade social studies and science. And then during that time, I worked to get my master's degree from Temple University in educational administration, and then became the assistant principal at Elizabethtown Middle School. And after that, I was at Elizabethtown for 10 years. And then I took a year to do some consulting as a Safe Schools coordinator for the state of Pennsylvania, where I was doing trainings across the state, different schools in different districts, and working with them on their school safety and violence reduction programs. And then I took a position in Southeastern School District, where I was the assistant principal at the East Middle School for 4 years. And this past year was honored to take the position I currently have in Central Dauphin School District as the principal of Tri-Community Elementary. And now I live in York with my family.
Okay, we're speaking with Bobbie Lamond from the class of 1988. Quite a varied experience there in the education. Now you're a product of Southern Elementary School?
Yes.
Southern Elementary School.
I was there for a year.
Okay.
I moved from the Sparks area when I was in 5th grade.
Now, can you remember who your building principal was at Southern Elementary? Am I putting you on the spot?
You're putting me on the spot.
Ray Lingenfelder, I wonder if it was Mr. Lingenfelder.
I didn't go to the principal's office very much, so...
Okay, yeah. On the other hand, I would know who the building principals are very well. True. Okay, well, that makes sense.
I remember the middle school principal was Mr. Miller at the time.
Jerry Miller. Yes.
That I was there. And then Mr. Lenane was here.
Mm-hmm. What developed your interest in the field of education? Was it something you can point to, or was it something you were always interested in?
I've always enjoyed working with kids, and I always seemed to be the person at the family picnics that all the kids gravitated towards, and I would organize a game or something. And when I was in college, I went in undecided. And at the University of Delaware, there were many opportunities to be involved with children, and they had like a campus daycare and summer camp programs and things that I got involved in that just really shaped my desire to work with children, and I could see where it would be able to fulfill my needs to make a difference for kids. Yeah,
I'm always interested in graduates from your era, from the Susquehannock High School, because in 1987 began a renovation process that absolutely just changed the high school. There was a huge renovation process that almost doubled the size of the building, added an auditorium, added a gymnasium, changed the cafeteria, added a huge number of classrooms, and took the original building and really gutted it and changed it. What was it like to be around the building during that process?
The thing I remember most would be our senior year was probably the biggest part of the construction project. So we had cold meals in the old gym, which would be the old gym now, and I can remember bringing salads in and from local restaurants and sitting on the floor in the gym and having lunch. And the other thing I remember most was that our class was, I think, to this point, the only class who did not graduate. Our graduation was held at York Fairgrounds.
That's right.
So I think we were one of the only classes ever not to graduate here.
Yeah, I think that is true. I forgot about that. The class of '88 was at York Fairgrounds, not on the athletic fields or even in the gymnasium,
Right.
because of all the construction that was
Right.
going on. Yeah, I forgot about that. That is interesting. So you had a unique experience here at Susquehannock. Can you think of any of the teachers who had a great influence on you?
I would definitely say Mr. Leith. He was, I can still hear his, you got to do what you got to do to prove what you got to prove, was something he said all the time when it came to chemical equations. And Mr. Naylor for math. I really enjoyed math and science, and I think the two of them were standouts in my mind. Certainly, Mrs. Schultz, as an English teacher, was a very strong role model as a woman for me.
Yeah.
There were others I know, but those three come to mind from high school right away.
Good, thank you. Today on Alumni Pride, we're speaking with Bobbie Lamond from the class of 1988. Your maiden name, Bobbie Clark. So nice to have you. Let's fast forward now.
Okay.
The field of education, you taught at the middle school, and I always think people who work with middle school children have a special spot set aside for them somewhere in heaven or something, because that's got to be the most, in my mind, that's got to be the most challenging years in education, I would think. Was that your experience or no?
I think there definitely is a quality about middle school teachers and folks that work with middle school students. They have to appreciate and respect what the students are going through first and understand that their subject matter sometimes comes second. So as an administrator in a middle school setting, you look for people who are very child-centered, and sometimes that's difficult because secondary teachers are trained to teach their subject.
Right.
And in middle school, you really have to be trained to teach the student.
That's interesting. First start with understanding the child and what they're going through, then be able to teach them the subject matter.
Right.
As opposed to the opposite, teach subject matter first.
Right.
That's probably not bad advice for even high school age, when you're teaching high school, but that's something I would have never thought of. I think you just go in there and give them the material and teach it to them and so forth, but that makes a lot of sense. As a building administrator in today's educational environment, what are some of the challenges? What are some of the joys? Can you share that with us a little bit?
I think definitely the challenges, first and foremost, the age of accountability and PSSA testing is very stressful, and
Right.
you want to make sure that you don't lose sight of the importance of the students and balance that with the importance of the state accountability and the testing. I think that another challenge that is also rewarding is watching today's youth navigate technology, and it's so different from the days when I was in school. Even in college, it's revolutionized our country and our world, really. And the fact that elementary students can navigate the computers better than some of the adults in the building is really rewarding and challenging at the same time.
Yeah. No, it's amazing, because in the 70s, when I was a college student at Elizabethtown, my math class in computer technology, we use key punch cards to program. And it's just amazing. And now you're right, my 9-year-old daughter teaches me how to do things that I'm not even sure I want to know how to do, first of all. But just because I'm at the age where, okay, I have enough. But it is amazing, and it's got to be a challenge also bringing teachers up to speed. And I know here at Southern York, we're continually doing faculty development. It seems like more and more of that development is based on technology.
Yes, and sometimes you have reluctant adults. That's the real challenge, and some of the younger teachers are a little more accepting and willing to go out and try new things, but some of the more veteran teachers are I think, afraid that they're going to make a mistake. And so you have to really make them feel comfortable that it's okay to make a mistake, and actually computers make it a lot easier to fix that mistake. And so I have that challenge with my staff as well, and I think it's definitely something that has changed the way we look at education and the way that kids need to be prepared to go into the workforce when they come out of school.
Talk about all the stress and testing and all the accountability that's required. You know, it seems to me, and my family's unique. I have a 25-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 9-year-old. And so I've kind of seen the evolution of the testing. But it seems to me the stress is not only on the whole school district. I mean, you know, the whole school district is now accountable, and accountable is fine. I don't think anyone would argue that we should in education be accountable.
Right.
But the stakes are high. And the other thing that's unique is people don't understand, most people don't understand all the variables that are involved in the testing and how the test scores are reported and so forth. But take that out of the equation. The stress, I think, it really includes everybody all the way down to the students. You know, I've seen elementary students feel the stress of the tests, you know, that they have to be involved in really on a week-long basis. And how do you combat that? Or is it something as a parent or a building administrator that we should be concerned about?
Definitely. I think that when you have third graders who tell you before, you know, a month before testing that they're nervous, you have to look at that and say, how can I create a climate in this building where the students are comfortable. You don't want them, if they come in uncomfortable and nervous and stressed out, they're not going to perform their best. So it's definitely a role, very important role that I have in terms of creating that situation where they can come in, relax, and do their best and really show what they know and what they've learned. So for me, this year, we did many activities to do that. And by the end of the testing, especially the fifth graders were saying, we loved testing week. Let's go back to it. I had a really entire school effort, and the younger students, kindergarten and first and second graders, were paired up with the older students, and they brought them presents every morning and got them all psyched up. So they really, really enjoyed having the attention as well as some of the treats and rewards that came from all their hard work.
Yeah. For Alumni Pride today, we thank you so much for joining us. Bobbie Lamond from the class of 1988, one of our alumni we're very, very proud of, a building principal now in the Central Dauphin School District, in fact, an elementary school building principal. Well, one of the things that I'm really intrigued with what your background includes is the school safety work that you've done and the safe schools work that you've done. Gosh, has that changed? You know, here at Southern York, where all the buildings get locked down, you know, once the students are in the buildings, and we're checking, we have a school police officer who's checking doors all day to make sure doors remain locked, and safety procedures in place for everything imaginable, from a broken pipe to you know, to a catastrophic event that would be more broader in our community. It's just amazing how that has evolved. And what's your sense of that? Is that going to continue to evolve like it is? You know, what's your sense there?
I definitely think it will continue to evolve. I think that the climate of our schools changed in 1995 in April with the Columbine incident, and I think that it woke our country up that schools are safe, but they're not foolproof, and certainly even today, you can have the best laid plans and things can happen. But I think the main thing schools can do to be prepared really has less to do with the hardware and the locks and the measures that you put into place like that, and more to do with the programs and the climate and and how you care for your children while they're in the school. Are you paying attention to the needs of the students and issues like bullying and your school climate? And I felt when I came here that they did that. I mean, certainly there was bullying, and certainly there were students who weren't as interested in the school subjects as others, but I think that there were definitely teachers and staff who were in tune with what the students were needing, and they did what they could to take care of us. And I think that is one of the things that has to continue to evolve. And students today have different needs and different the ability that the internet has brought kids and taught students how to be exposed to a lot more than what we had when we were in school. So you definitely have to continue to evolve and respond to the society and to the things the students are exposed to. And they bring with them a lot different knowledge than what we had.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. In my generation, we had 3 channels, black and white TV. Saturday afternoon, the most violent thing we watched was some professional wrestling that we thought was true. But that's that whole world's changed. And we played outside all day, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's changed. And I think you're right. We as an educational institution have to evolve to meet the needs of the children, as their environment definitely has changed also.
Right.
You're going to be in education for a lot more years, whether you want to be or not. What do you think the challenges are? How do you, where's education going, and what challenges do you see on the forefront, and what things great can education accomplish in the next years?
Well, education creates great things every day in our students, and I think that's where you always have to be in tune with the students. You have to be, as their world changes, as you said, so does the school. And so you always have to be responsive and be ready to anticipate the changes in society that are going to impact the school and the preparedness of students that come into you. So I think the future is limitless, and you have to stay on top of it so you can be prepared to create an environment where students can be prepared for the world outside of school. And that's the ultimate goal of education.
Yeah. Tell us about your family, Bobbie. I know you have 2 young children.
Yes.
Do you want to share about it so our people can know a little bit about you personally?
Sure. I'm married to Kevin Lamond, and we've been married since 2004. We had our first child, Jamie, who is 4 years old, and then we had our son, Ben, 13 months later. And so we have 2 very small children who keep us very busy, and they're very active.
I bet that keeps you active.
Yes.
Well, Kevin's also a graduate of Susquehannock.
Yes, 1987.
Okay, great. So that's nice when you have 2 spouses, both from Susquehannock. And I got to tell you this, if you're interested in emailing Bobbie, all you got to do is go to our alumni website. This is our plug.
Okay.
But if you go to the school district website at www.syc.k12.pa.us, go to the little link on the side where you can click on Alumni Association, and then you can search for our alumni. But if you're interested in staying in contact with Bobbie or Kevin or anyone in their classes of 88 and 87, you can click on there and you can see their information about them and so forth. And if you're not registered, we encourage you to get registered. Gosh, Bobbie, we're going to be pushing 1,000 alumni who are registered on our site, and really is a neat resource.
That's great. I know when I registered, there were very few in my class registered, so I'm trying to encourage others.
Good.
to get on there.
Good, good. So Bobbie Lamond, her maiden name was Bobbie Clark from New Freedom, an alumni here from Susquehannock High School that we're very, very proud of from the class of 1988, and now a building administrator, a building principal in the Central Dauphin School District, a resident of York with a young family, and very active in the educational community. So we're very, very proud of you, Bobbie, and thank you so much for joining us on Alumni Pride.
Sure, thank you.
So for Bobbie Lamond, I'm Wayne McCullough. For Alumni Pride, for Mark Will, who's the Channel 99 Warrior TV station manager, I'll see you later.